Welcome back. With me live from Bismarck, Representative Bette Grande, who was a co-sponsor on a couple of these life bills. Bette, I want to jump right in here. A lot of people are texting us, giving us feedback saying, hey, these laws are way too intrusive into a women's rights, women's reproductive health. Yesterday, I had Joel Heitkamp on the show. He had this to say to you and other conservatives in the legislative body. Let's play this soundbite, and I want to get your comments, Bette.
But I really am struggling with how invasive these people are getting in women's reproduction. These are people that say they're against government. They don't want government in their lives unless it's their form of government.
We'll get into Bette, I know you're part of, hey, I want limited government. I want to get your thoughts on what Joel Heitkamp had to say.
Well, absolutely. But, you know, when we talk about limited government, I'm all in favor of that. And the whole thing is the federal government has put the burden on the states to determine this issue. It's not my choice to go into the courts on this issue. It was the courts that told the states to be involved in the issue. We were told by the Roe v. Wade decision that the states were to determine the life and health of the mother issues and the potential life of the child. And that's what we have to do because the courts have asked us. But in that same thing, is it the federal government involvement that should be here, or should this be a states' rights issue? And this right now is at the states level.
Well, yeah, but you and I both know, look, federal law trumps state law, and the federal law states that viability is at 22 to 24 weeks. And obviously your heartbeat bill is talking about 6 weeks. So wouldn't federal law trump that?
But well, only in the fact that the courts laid out three pieces. They said that there is a right to privacy, and that the states were to determine where and how the life and health of the mother would be dealt with, and that they are to determine, it is the duty of the state to determine the potential life of the child. And that's exactly what the heartbeat bill deals with. It deals with those three issues.
Well, I want to move on to this as well. A lot of people out there are saying Bette Grande and people in your legislative body only care about babies when they're in the womb, but don't care about babies once they're born, i.e. the milk program, pre-K funding. You say what to that?
Well, it's the same mantra. When they can't deal with the fact that we're dealing with a real life and a real heartbeat, they go into the fray and they go into the fringe of the discussion. But the discussion truly is, and the burden is in the discussion of what is life, and the life is the heartbeat, and the heartbeat is what we're dealing with.
But people are saying that, look, that's great, and you're not caring about them once they get out. You won't fund the milk program in North Dakota. You won't fund pre-K, which is a huge problem in the state.
You know, Chris, the milk thing's done and gone. We have over $1 billion, nearly $2 billion in the K-12. The schools didn't ask for it. It's an issue that if they want it, they have the money in the systems. They just have to utilize it in that fashion. So that's just, you know, that's off subject. It's off what we're trying to deal with. And we're funding K-12. We're funding K-12 at a high level. And you know, beyond that, where is it that we aren't the ones that are supporting all the nonprofits? I mean, look at the Perry Center, look at the First Choice Clinic, look at all the other facilities that are out there that we are taking care of the children.
Bette, I know that you're a fiscal conservative.
Is it government's job?
I want to move on to also about you being a fiscal conservative and talking about the Republican legislature. As we know, they're talking about litigation, the money it's going to cost the state, potentially millions of dollars to the North Dakota taxpayer. If that ends up being the case, how is that being fiscally conservative?
Well, for one thing, we don't have a price tag of multi-millions of dollars. We don't know what those numbers are. But then again, what's the price of a life? What's the price of the life of the child? And another side of that is, this is nothing new. We have funded lawsuits up and down for many, many years. We've funded railroad rate lawsuits. We fund the lawsuit between North Dakota and Minnesota on whether the air is clean enough or there is enough green energy going across. We have multiple lawsuits in with the EPA. On Appropriations Committee, no less than 3 budgets that I can think of right now, we have special set-aside dollars for lawsuits. I mean, this is typical. This isn't anything new.
But is it being fiscally conservative to utilize taxpayer money? Obviously, this is a huge issue for women and saying, look, I want this choice. and now I don't have a choice in even where my taxpayer dollars are going. Is it the right move in the utilization of taxpayer dollars?
Well, Chris, taxpayer dollar issue. I guess I don't see it in the same perspective. Being fiscally conservative, I'm not bringing the lawsuit. They are bringing the lawsuit. We are passing legislation. If they think it's going to cost too much, they don't need to bring a lawsuit. The laws can go into effect. Every law we pass is constitutional till proven otherwise. So what we passed is law, and the governor has signed, and was passed in law, mind you, by nearly 2/3 majority in both the House and the Senate in bipartisan fashion. And in that, we are moving forward in this state, and that's the laws that the state would have. If they choose to sue and cause the cost of the dollars, it's not what we did, it's what they're doing.
Betty, last question for you. Governor Dalrymple signs these bills. He knows it's a hot issue and then doesn't come out and speak to the media today. Basically ends up going ghost. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I happen to know that the governor wasn't in the Capitol building very often today. He has other things to do, and he was working on those things, but he has seen what the people have spoken, and that is what he did, was followed through with the policy from the policy committee. I mean, we are the policy branch, and he has followed through with that. He is a great Republican,
but doesn't he owe it to the
pro-life
people of the
governor
state to come out and
that
speak
did the
about
right
this?
thing. Why, he didn't come out and speak on any other legislation that he has signed into law so far.
All right, Betty, thanks so much for your time. I know this is a huge victory for you, so we really, really appreciate it. We'll have you back on in the near future. Stay close. We're going to get to your feedback. There's been a ton of it tonight. And as always, go to our website, 630pov.com.